Test, 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 test. Yes, yes, yes. If everybody out in the foyer can make their way to the auditorium, that would be great. Can you hear me out there? Can you hear me out there? No. Okay. Dirk, can I be heard out there? If everybody in the foyer could come into the auditorium, we're about ready to start. If Greg Taylor can come in, I'm guessing everybody else will come in. I thought I saw Greg. I thought I saw Greg come in. Did we lose him? A joke? Yeah. That's right, Greg's a Cubs fan. Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and start, and we're going to go ahead and begin with Titus Benton. He sent about a 3-minute video greeting you. Titus was here, boy, I'm doing it off the top of my head, around 2004, 2005, in that area. He was the youth minister here, and he's still doing ministry. And so let's hear from Titus.
Hello, dear friends. It is Titus Benton, all the way from Katy, Texas, bringing greetings to you from my wife, Carrie, our daughter, Nora, our son, Malachi, and congratulating you on 125 years of ministry in the great, great town of Moweaqua and beyond. It is unbelievable to me that it was 17 years ago that we shared together. It is also unbelievable to me that even though we were only there for 15 or 16 months, our time spent there made such a tremendous impact on us, and I can only hope that we made an impact on you. I was thinking about memories, the smell of Staley's, the sight of the corn popping up in the early summer, the whir of the dryers just a block from where we live there, next to the church building. The wonderful, wonderful bacon cheeseburgers at the dinner bucket, and great meals shared with friends in your homes, at the bowling alley, or over a walking taco at the powwow. My mind's meaningful memories. It occurred to me as I was thinking about our time there that was the first trip I ever took to the Dominican Republic. We met Jeff and Vicki Rogers at Go Ministries. They are dear friends to Carrie and I to this day. We still support their ministry. We have helped fund things through our nonprofit. down on the island. That wouldn't have happened if we'd never moved to Moweaqua. It's crazy to think about that. We were there during a difficult time, but sometimes it is those seasons of life that bond people closest together. And so I don't think it's any accident that many of us are still connected on social media, keeping in touch with each other's lives, and still, in a way, walking together. A journey of faith, a journey of discovery, a journey of great hope in what it is we believe and what we share. I loved our time in Moweaqua, and I sincerely am grateful to each of you for how you invested in a couple of young kids that were just getting started, just figuring stuff out, had a lot to learn. You were so patient, so caring, and so thank you. And I know that the things that I have said have been said again and again and again as you celebrate this year, this momentous anniversary, because the legacy that your community of faith is leaving in the lives of people, not just in the Tri-County area, but literally all across the country and even around the world. So sincerely, congratulations. We were honored to share with you for a short time in person, and we continue to share with you and celebrate with you in spirit. So celebrate well, have some good potlucks, share some great memories. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for who you are.
All right, very good. As he's talking about some of his memories, the Staley smell and all that, what I just remembered now, what was famous for us was the Moweaqua snow. You know what that was? All the flakes coming off the grain, you know. Moweaqua snow in the fall. Anyway, the order we're going to go today, what I'd like to, Greg, if I could have you go first, and then Bob's going to say, I'm going to have Josh go last because hopefully his children will be here, and they're going to try, you know, you got to know them. So Greg, if you'll come up and share a little bit. Marla, you may come up and share if you'd like to as well. I kind of leave that up to your discretion. I think she should. Yeah, very good.
All right, well, do you want to go first or you want me to? Why don't you tell about our family?
Okay. So Jordan, our daughter, is living out in Massachusetts. They just are part of a church plant close to Boston, and they just moved from Providence, Rhode Island, and got married, yes, to Jacob. And so they are part of a church plant and doing very, very well. Peyton, our son, is finishing his last year at SIU Carbondale. He's done track all 4 years, and he's going to graduate with a bachelor's of science in math. He doesn't know what he wants to do, and I don't know what he wants to do either. So anyway, go math. So he's doing well also, and we just moved to Danville in August of 2019 and love our new church, Second Church of Christ, and very, very happy to be there and felt like that was really God's call for us to be there. So I have a lot of great memories here, and I don't want to talk too much because I'll start crying, but very dear to my heart. So
You can stay up here. Go ahead and stay up here. And it's okay to cry. This is a great place to shed a tear. As Marla said, we left Moweaqua in '99 and moved to Chestnut, Illinois. We were there for 7 years. I was there, I should say, at Lincoln Christian College for 7 years. Marla taught at Lincoln High School, 18 years, I think? And in 2006, we stayed in our home in Chestnut, but took a ministry in Clinton, Illinois, at First Christian Church. We were there till '99, moved to Danville in the summer of 1999. Marla 2019, we moved to Danville. That's what I meant to say. Sorry. 2019, we moved to Danville. Marla teaches now at Georgetown Ridge Farm. Does anybody know the mascot for Georgetown Ridge Farm? Anyone? What? The Buffaloes. Way to go. That's right. And so, Yeah, Second Church is a really good church. We're really honored to serve there. It's a unique church. It's kind of two churches in one. We have 5 services on a Sunday morning in 2 different venues in the same building. So I have the opportunity to preach most Sundays in main auditorium. We have 3 services there, but we also have a Next Gen service that takes place in our Next Gen auditorium at 9:20 and 10:45, and really blessed to serve there and excited for the future. The last year and 5 months has been crazy everywhere, including Danville, but we're really blessed to be there. I want to just say a word about what Moweaqua meant to me personally, and I don't know how many of you even know this or not, but my senior year in college at Lincoln Christian College, I sent a resume to Moweaqua for the position of youth minister, and I never heard anything, never heard back. But I was single at the time and not engaged at the time, and so I was serving a church up near Chicago, Plano Christian Church, and that church kind of had a blow-up explosion that I won't go down that road today, but it became abundantly clear I wasn't going to be staying there, and I was talking to my good friend and mentor, Rondell Ramsey, who was a youth minister in Streeter, and he said, you know, Moweaqua is looking for a youth minister. You ought to send a resume. And I said, well, I did send a resume, but I never heard back from him. He said, let me make a call. And he said, you're engaged now, right? And I said, I am engaged. He said, send a resume. And literally that week, I had an interview, and I think that night was offered that position. That's how quick it happened. And, you know, I look back to September of 1991. I want to just say thank you for the patience that so many of you showed me that I probably didn't deserve as a 22-year-old knucklehead. A lot of ways we grew up here, you know. I wasn't being cheesy in first service when I said these were the best days of our life in so many ways, and just so many great memories. We were blessed to live in 3 different parsonages. You know, we became a family at Moweaqua. Jordan was born in March of '96, and I just found some pictures a couple weeks ago of Jordan and I walking on the sidewalk outside the church, and just so many memories. But really the highlight of the 8 years of student ministry for me, without a doubt, was just the number of students, and many of them are here today, that we were able to watch grow up and fall in love with Jesus and are serving Jesus today. And I'm not going to name names because I'm going to forget people, and I don't want to do it, but just so many great memories and blessings. And it really was a great church to learn how to do ministry. It was a great church to make mistakes in, you know, and we made mistakes. You know, if my youth minister tried to scalp tickets to Fenway Park for the Boston Red Sox, I don't know that it would go as well as it did with us, but it was a great game, right? I mean, so yeah, there's that. But yeah. So is this being recorded or not? Yeah. Yeah. I know. But seriously, love this church. I still consider it our church in a lot of ways, and one of the things that really is disconcerting that I see playing out in 2021 is the amount of people that just they're down on their church, or they've left their church, or they're frustrated with their church, or they don't end well as a person of faith with their church. And if I have one message, I would just say, I love this church. I hope you love this church. It's a special church. Embrace your church. Anything else?
Just lots of good, fun memories, and I won't go into them because they're embarrassing, most of them. But loved being the youth minister's wife, and you guys just loving on us and loving our family and growing with us. So,
There used to be some stairs right here. Is that right or not? I just wondered.
So they hired you after you got engaged, huh? That wasn't coincidence, right? Man. I know Michelle and I were hesitant to come to Moweaqua. I wanted to go to a big city, our next move. Greg Taylor gets on the phone. He is a salesman, you know, we came, and it has been the best thing, you know, for our family. So thank you for that, and even trying to corrupt Josh, it's all right. Sure, come on. You're on sabbatical, so no ministry stuff, just.
my favorite memory with Greg, I was ready to get baptized. And so Greg met with me over a series to talk about it, but we were at Freddy's, the restaurant here in town, and we almost got kicked out because we're sitting at the table, and Greg had this toothpick that he was sucking on, and he would take it out and stick it in the sugar thing get that thing covered in sugar and then suck on it for a while and then stick it back in there. And the waitress just came over. She's like, "You can't do that."
We will not send this to Danville. So. Okay, Bob Phillips is up next for us. Come on up, Bob. And Bob was ministering back here like in 1960, I believe. You're probably, how do I put this, the oldest living past minister of this church. Would that be correct? I'm sorry. Anyway, Bob Phillips, he has quite a journey that the Lord has taken him on, so I'm looking forward to hearing from him.
Thank you, Mark. I was going to mention that while ministering at Champaign, we sent Greg to be your youth minister here, but after hearing about this toothpick deal, I'm not sure I have known him. Really. Well, it's an honor to be here and be a part of your 125th anniversary, and also an honor to have been a little part of that 125th journey. We moved here in the early part of 1959 from Meadville, Pennsylvania, had 3 small boys, and some of the early memories I have of arriving here, first of all, one of the boys broke out with measles on the way here. The old parsonage was the big frame house, I think, where the present parsonage still is. And we didn't have a lot of furniture. The truck arrived, and Oni Moore and some of the leaders of the church were here to help unload. It didn't take them long to unload, and Oni said, "When's the other truck arriving?" I said, "Oni, this is the only truck there is." We didn't have much, so we floated around in that big 4-bedroom house. There was no office in the building at the time, in the old building, and so I took a classroom downstairs and made my office. Joanne called one day and said, "You need to come over to the house right away." I said, "What's the problem?" She says, "Well, the washing machine just fell through the floor." So welcome to Moweaqua. There was a little enclosed porch, as I recall, in the back, and that was our laundry room. And the washing machine had literally fallen through the floor, and we found out that the house was infested with termites. And the garage was detached, but it was infested with termites as well. But those were some of the memories. I mentioned some of the crazy, stupid things you do when you're young, Greg. I remember maybe the term "stupid" wasn't used, but but looking back, to me, some of the things I did while I was in Moweaqua were kind of stupid. You probably couldn't get by with it today. I remember we had a Bible school contest. That was back in the day when you could do those things. And we had the polka dots and the stripes. Mark Trauber, I remember, was the captain of one of the teams, and I think George Forston, who had a barbershop uptown, was the captain of the other, and had everybody divided the whole church up, and everybody wore a stripe or a polka dot on their lapel. We had a lot of fun, and set, I think, an attendance record or 2 during that, and some folk who had left the church came back. So God used those stupid things to reach some people. Now, those were some of the memories I have. After I was speaking at family camp at Vespers, and just as the service started at Little Galilee, 4 guys that I didn't recognize came in and sat down in the back. Turned out to be some elders from the Emerson Street Christian Church in Bloomington. And long story short, they talked to us about moving to Bloomington to be their preacher. I wasn't interested in moving anywhere. We were enjoying here. I grew up at Cowden's farm community. This was very much home. But long story short, the Lord opened the doors, and we did. Then in October of '62, moved to Bloomington. We're there for about 12 and a half years. The Lord blessed that ministry in a good way, and then went to Lincoln to be on the staff at Lincoln for 5 years. And from Lincoln, then to First Christian in Champaign, which is Greg's home church. And we were there for just shy, I think, 18 and a half years. And I was 69 at the time, and it was time to make a transition. The camp had been talking to me about coming on board to be a fundraiser and PR guy, so we made that transition. So at that age, for the next 21 years, I was working for Little Galilee, working for the Lord through Little Galilee. And God bless that work and ministry. You all were, as a church, and many individuals were a part of that as well, making possible to construct the new buildings and renovate the prior existing buildings. Everything is either renovated now or brand new at Little Galilee, and you folks have helped do that, and it's all debt-free. Praise God. Then in January, last year, January, I concluded my ministry with Little Galilee, and since that time have continued to preach whenever anybody would have an old guy come preach. Always enjoy preaching and have opportunities to do that, and I've appreciated that very much. Through the years, it's been a great blessing to see God work through people. I have been so blessed in the churches where we've served to have dedicated elders who were committed to the Lord, who were visionary, who loved the church and loved the Lord, and that's been a great blessing. Another blessing has been that I married a devoted Christian wife, and she's been VBS worker, choir director, preacher's wife, mother of 3 very growing boys, and first lady at Lincoln for 5 years. Just a wonderful, wonderful helpmate, and whatever fruit that God has brought through my ministry, she's been very much a part of it. My associate minister, Joanne. Thank you, honey. And in about 2 months, we will have concluded 69 years of ministry together.
If you're not in the bigger Christian world, I don't think you realize this man is an icon. And thank you, Bob. Okay, Josh's family's here. I saw them come in, so we're gonna let and so I'm gonna let Josh talk a little bit about his memories and experiences here.
They're gonna come up, right? If you want them to. Is this being recorded? I need to know that before I start talking. All right. Hey, Caden, you want to come up? Yeah. Hey, if you guys want to come up, I'm sure everybody would love to see you. Come on up. So this is my oldest son, Caden. Here, come on up, buddy. He is 9, going into 4th grade. And then this is Grant Man. He is 4, going into his 2nd year preschool. And did you guys have a good morning? Good morning. Yeah, you had a good morning? Yeah, good. And then we've got Mason back there. He's 6. He's going into 1st grade. And then Krista has our daughter Ella, who just turned 1. And being born during COVID, she is very much a stranger danger kind of baby. So don't take offense if you wave at her or smile and you don't get a response. But yeah, this is our little family. So thanks, guys. All right. Man, I could tell a lot of stories. I'll tell a few. I do have to say, though, Greg, I didn't know the sugar toothpick story. I mean, I know I've had to have my kids, like, don't lick the Parmesan cheese, container, but it's interesting. So let me just say that I said this first service during the worship time. This church has made such a kingdom impact. It's continuing to do so, and I loved my time here. And man, just you guys are such a blessing. So it's great to be back. I believe it's been 17 years since I've been here on a Sunday morning. Going into ministry, you don't get many Sundays off, so that's kind of understandable. I see Rennert back there. Hey, buddy. All right, good to see you. So I'm going to tell a Rennert story, so I'm glad he's here. But just to give you kind of an update on my family, so I went to Lincoln Christian College, stayed there to do grad school, and went into worship studies. I did not know I was going to become a worship minister until after I graduated, but it's so cool to look back and realize that this church was such a big part of forming me for that calling. So it's kind of cool how God works things out. So I entered worship ministry on a part-time basis during grad school at Mount Pulaski, where Dad recently was for about 9-10 years. And great place to get my feet wet. Like Greg said, make a lot of mistakes. And then when I graduated, Krista and I were married in 2004, and then we moved to the west side of Indianapolis in Brownsburg. So we were at a church there, Cornerstone Christian Church, for about 3 years. Again, great first full-time ministry, learned a lot, made a lot of mistakes, but just really continued to grow in my love for ministry and specifically worship ministry. And then from there, we moved to the northeast side of Indianapolis, which is where we currently are. We've been at Outlook Christian Church for 12 years, and I'm the worship arts minister. And during that time, Krista completed her master's in school counseling at Butler University, and she's been in the school counseling world ever since. And she just recently finished a year-long program to be licensed in mental health counseling. And so, anyway, just to give you a little update there, we've been blessed with 4 kids along the way, and 3 very energetic boys. And somehow we got the cutest baby with the brightest blue eyes. So it's pretty great having a daughter. So this, like I said, this church has meant a lot to me. So I'm going to tell a story that's probably one of my favorite stories, and many of you probably remember this. But Dad was going to the Philippines and Japan, went there on a mission trip. And man, I'm not supposed to get emotional yet, but like it's a really great story. So so he comes back, and he's like, hey, there's a need. They need, I think, a vehicle. They need $10,000, and I think this church can do that. Does anybody remember this? Yes, okay, you know where I'm going. Okay, so it was so cool. He makes that plea, and I believe that the church raised like 35 grand, or like 33, something like that. I mean, just, like, amazing. Like, it was just amazing. And so, you know, part of the, being in the youth group, I got to be with some people and we're like, hey, guys, we need to do our part. You know, and, like, the challenge was, hey, some of us can give $100, some of us can give 50 or 25. So I remember marching in and saying, like, hey,